All right, the regular meeting of the mayor of the city of Port Allen, City Council, City of Port Allen, Louisiana, dates Wednesday, March 13th, 2024. It's 5:40 p.m. Council chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall. Each person must decide before entering the chamber which agenda item they wish to comment on. If they're not seated in the chambers when the agenda item is heard, they will be notified by an officer in the council chambers to address that agenda item. Agenda, please silence all electronic devices. Agenda number 1, call to order. Agenda number 2, stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda item number 3, roll call.
Brown.
Here.
Ms. Gordon.
Here.
Mr. Hubble.
Here.
Ms. Lacy. Present. Mr. Riviere.
Here.
Mr. Vice President.
Thank you. Agenda item 4, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February the 14th, 2024.
We have a correction. On the last page, on third motion, the roll call vote, yea, you had 2 yeas. We didn't vote nay on that.
On the minutes,
Yeah. And you had an abstain by Charlene. So even if you had 2 yeas and 2 nays, the motion wouldn't pass.
But the mayor had, he had
No,
to
I
make
abstained from it.
That's,
I didn't abstain from
and who did not didn't vote no.
it. Yeah. That's the junior cosmetology,
No, this
on the last
which
page.
one we talking
which
about?
one you talking about, Jimmy?
last page, third motion.
Burberry.
Yes.
I thought we voted on that and it ended up.
That's the condemnation of the 2 properties on Burr Bridges. My recollection is those were both 5-0
Right.
Yeah.
in voting for condemnation.
And they both supposed to move forward.
Okay, so you didn't vote nay.
We all voted, yes.
We all voted.
We all voted.
for the phone.
Both properties were a vote of 5-0 to condemn those properties.
Thank you.
Motion get passed, just a vote on
We're correct.
So you need a motion to approve the minutes as noted with the corrections.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
Second.
A motion by Councilwoman Lacy, second by Councilwoman Gordon. Any objections? Here none.
Ms. Brown.
it. Yes.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes.
Mr. Hubble.
Yes.
Ms. Lacy. Yes.
Yes.
My apologies, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Then on the side, public comments. Comments from the public are allowed in accordance with the Louisiana Violence Statute RS 42:11, section 2 through 34, and specifically limited to agenda item to be considered during the meeting. 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic. Everyone sign up to speak. Agenda item 6, recognize Michael Butler on his occasion for his retirement. Is Mr. Butler in? No.
No, he had a death in the family, so.
Okay. Council, Mr. Butler, retired from the city of Port Allen in Roads and Drainage Department. He had 14 years of service, and this is a plaque that we present to him tonight. It says Michael Butler in recognition of 14 years of dedicated professional service for the Department of Public Works. And we'll present that to him. I'll see if he get this plaque.
In his absence, we don't want to thank him for his years of service. We appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, agenda item 7, recognize Keon Jackson for his outstanding contributions to the entertainment industry. Mr. Keon Jackson. Mr. Jackson, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your career and?
Oh, okay. So I'll talk to you. First of all, I want to thank y'all for this opportunity. It's truly a blessing to be here. Like I love home. I've been all over the place, but I love Fort Allen. And they say it takes a village, and I'm so grateful that this is my village.
Yeah.
So I want to thank y'all for always being supportive and for always encouraging me. I want to thank my grandmother who's looking down my morning, my parents, and my sister, all the teachers I've had who always encouraged my writing. I just jumped the gun. So I am a TV writer. I'm a published author. I'm a 3-time Emmy nominated writer. I've got shows in production with various companies, and like I'm very, very passionate about creating TV shows that inspire and encourage and educate our youth. So I've been very fortunate to do some things that I think hopefully help make the world a better place. And like what y'all gave to me, I'm giving to the world. So thank you, Port Allen. I love y'all. And I don't know what else to do.
Don't leave yet. Ms. Catherine Jackson.
All right.
Somebody said this wasn't church, but to God be the glory. He said he has done. Keon just about said everything that I was going to say. Well, it's on paper, so I might as well read it. Keon Jackson was born in East Baton Rouge, reared and educated in West Baton Rouge. He knew he wanted to be a writer at an early age. His interest in the art form was always supported by his family. His grandmother, the late Miss Yvonne Matthews, would often take him to the library and encourage him to read. This had a profound impact on his young creative mind. As a child, he wrote short stories, skits, and poems. His poem entitled Mama was even published in the West Side Journal and Louisiana Young Authors Archive in 2nd grade. He is a product of the West Baton Rouge Parish school system. He attended Corn Elementary, and after the 4th grade commencement exercises, his parents spoke to he and his sister about transferring from West Baton Rouge school system to a private school in East Baton Rouge Parish. His response at 9 years old was, if we're going to learn, we'll learn right here. We want to stay with our friends. Their parents allowed them to attend school in this parish, and he, along with his sister, were 2 of the 4 valedictorians from Port Allen Middle School of class of 2000. In the classroom, his creative talents were cultivated in English by English and reading teachers such as Miss Betty Johnson, Miss Rosa Gibbons, Miss Georgia Maselski, and Miss Frenchie Parker, along with many others. He is a 2004 graduate of Port Allen High School, graduated 3rd in his class. In 2004, he attended Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. There he received his bachelor's degree in mass media arts with a concentration in television, film production. On May 19, 2008, he graduated summa cum laude, and on May 26, 2008, he reported to Hallmark Cards Incorporation in Kansas City, Missouri, to begin his career as a greeting cards writer. With this company, he rose to the role of senior creative writer. He wrote for countless card lines and products, including mahogany cards, the line dedicated to serving the African American community. He also wrote multiple children's books, but perhaps most notably, he had his own faith-based gift collection called Stay Prayed Up. Stay Prayed Up offered inspirational mugs, journals, and the popular book Because Jesus, that also became a children's book and a daily devotional. Because Jesus would go on to sell many copies, achieved a 5-star rating on Amazon, and became one of the 101 best books of 2015. The Kansas City Star. In 2016, he wrote and produced a stage play called Gumbo House. The Hurricane Katrina inspired play was workshopped and performed off Broadway. In 2017, he was selected for the Sesame Writers Room Fellowship. He attended the program for 6 weeks and then signed a development deal to create an original show for Sesame Workshop. This was the beginning of his television writing career. He has written for groundbreaking TV shows like Sesame Street and If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. He has worked as the story editor for 3 animated television series, including Netflix Commerce World, created by Chris Ludacris Bridges. In 2022, he was nominated for his first Emmy, receiving a nomination for Outstanding Writing for an Animated Program. This achievement was a huge milestone in his career. In 2023, he received 2 Emmy nominations: Outstanding Writing for Children's Young Teen Program for his work on Commerce World, and Outstanding Short Form Program for his work with Sesame Street in communication. Now he is a 3-time Emmy nominee. He is currently working on multiple television projects and various stages of production. He is committed to telling stories about stories that make a difference.
Yes.
And recently, a new show came out, and it's entitled Dear Friends. So I just like you to know today's recipient of the proclamation is Keon Lenore Jackson.
All right.
Don't go nowhere, Mr. Yeah. On behalf of the City Council, we present you with a proclamation, and it reads as: the Mayor and the City Council of Port Allen would like to recognize Keon Jackson as a 3-time Emmy nominee TV writer, author, and playwright. Whereas Keon Jackson was raised in the city of Port Allen, Louisiana, he is a product of West Baton Rouge Parish School System. For college, he attended Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia, and there he received a bachelor's degree in mass media arts with a concentration in television and film production. Whereas Keon secured many achievements and wrote multiple children's books. He would go on to sell many copies of his books and achieve a 5-star rating. He was named one of the 101 best books of 2015 by news publication, the Kansas City Star. Whereas he also wrote and produced a stage play called Gumbo House, and will go on to be a workshop off Broadway. Whereas Keon enjoyed writing in various mediums, always with a desire of being a TV writer. It was the beginning of his television writing career. In 2017, he created an original show for Sesame Street Workshop, whereas he worked as a co-executive producer and was senior story editor of an animated Netflix TV show, Dee and Friends in Oz, and Camera's World. Whereas in 2022, Keon became a 3-time Emmy nominee for his outstanding writing, and is currently writing multiple TV projects which are in various stages of production. Now, therefore, I, Richard N. Lee III, Mayor of the City of Port Allen, Louisiana, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, March 13, 2024, as Keon Jackson Day. Island citizens to take time not only on March 13th of 2024, but throughout the year to show their support. In witness therefore thereof, I hereby unto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Port Allen, Louisiana to be affixed on this first day of March 2024. Signed, Richard N. Lee III, Honorable Richard N. Lee III, Mayor of the City of Port Allen. Congratulations. Congratulations, Mr. Keon, and also we will give you a key to the city.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Actually, this is our first time meeting. I know everybody is so proud of you, all your family, all your friends, and all your supporters. But on the behalf of the city, the mayor, and the city council, we wanted you to know how proud we were of you. So whatever the nomination said, your city said, you are in the winner. Yeah.
Somebody else take a picture? Go ahead.
Anyone would like to say anything?
Mom and Dad?
All right.
The Councilwoman again. Round, get up.
Let's give him another round of applause.
On behalf of the Jackson family, I'd like to say thank you all for what you've done.
Thank you. Item 8, to consider authorizing Mayor Lee to approve the renewal proposal for health insurance for the city of Port Allen employees. You have their insurance.
Well, that was
super impressive. That's really cool, Mr. Jackson. I was very happy to see that. That was very impressive. But yes, I just wanted to reach out. You know, we met with the committee last week. We did review the policies, and I can do a brief overview if you'd like me to, or if you'd like me to just answer any questions you may have, whatever y'all like me to do.
Yeah.
Didn't you play us some?
I appreciate the presentation last week.
She's way better than me.
Good work by y'all, we appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seemed like she searched the market to make sure we had some good prices going in.
Yeah, and just a brief overview, the group health insurance went up $2.84 per employee per month, still covering everything at 100%. The only thing an employee would pay for if they are not admitted to into the hospital is an emergency room copay of $100. The dental insurance, I think, went up about $1. But everything else is a rate hold. So we don't get to see this very often, but we're super excited for the city and happy we can present that to y'all.
And we appreciate the work that y'all have done and continue.
Yep, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilman Riviere, second by Councilman Hubble. Any objections? Hear none?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Agenda item 9, consider authorizing Mayor Lee to approve the work on the development of Con Park Drainage Project at a cost of $34,495. Mr. Joel is not here. Council, what this was is, this is the additional cost that, the city will incur in, to close the drainage ditch from, North 14th Street to, 12th Street. And, once that project is complete, if, we get some additional funds from the state, it will cover the remaining portion of that canal or the development of that park. We did have a conversation with both Representative Jordan and Senator Price, and they have stressed that they feel good about the obtaining more funds for that particular project.
I think this is the one that we had a lot of conversation about last week. We wasn't here. We kind of talked about some of the material that is used, and we just got some more understanding about it.
Yeah, I listened to that conversation, and the main thing was that, there's not gonna have any heavy traffic on those particular pipes that they're putting in. And the only part that's different will be under the roadway. It will be concrete under the roadway. It's not gonna be plastic. It has to be enough to sustain the weight of vehicles that cross the roadway. So the piping underneath 12th Street will be concrete, but the other piping between 14th Street and 12th Street will be PVC. Yes, sir. Got a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Riviere.
Yes.
Any objections? Hear none?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Motion passes, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, agenda item 10, consider approving the monthly finance report given by Ms. Davis. Council, this is something that the auditor requires us to do each month. Once the report is presented at the committee meeting, the council must approve those statements, or that report that was given to the committee meeting.
Wasn't it supposed to be a correction or something on it before we approved it?
I didn't print out all the copies, but I did make corrections to the formulas that I had home. And if y'all want to see a copy, then I can get you a copy.
And just for the record, make sure it's in the statement of correction that you made, just so we can have it on record for what we are approving for. Not each one, but you know, in a nutshell.
On the administrative one, I had, the formula was not correct. I also, when you look at this, I did show what percentage is remaining. I think it was like, I don't remember, and I don't have my own one yet.
It was less though.
I think it was administrative and water, wastewater. I apologize. That's okay. I don't have the old one with me.
But all the corrections will be made.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
the remaining balance to show the percentage for each one. That's correct.
Now, those have not, all of them have not been corrected. I just realized that, the 55,000 that we did for the air conditioner, is not in our capital outlay. I haven't moved it on the books yet, so I still have that to do. And that's under administrative. I thought I had done it when I looked last week, where I saw that. So I still have that to do.
How long does it?
I haven't done it. Extra.
That we did?
No, I haven't, no, I would have it done tomorrow. Yeah, I would have that done tomorrow.
So do we approve it?
Because I was saying something that was a quick fix, that you could go put in and just come back and vote on it before the meeting over, which is.
We can take it to the next meeting, it's not nothing that, has to be.
We can take it to next week.
Alright. So that's the wish of the council, go ahead and table this agenda.
Yeah.
Motion to table.
Second. I have motion by Councilwoman Lacy, second by Councilman Brown to table this to the next meeting. Yeah.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Riviere?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Then item 11, consider approving the 2022-2023 audit report.
Okay, so council members, if you remember last week, your auditor, presented you at the committee meeting, a copy of the auditor's, report for this last fiscal year. So they were asking that, the council move to accept that report, at its next meeting.
I have a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilwoman Lacy. Any objections? Hearing none?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Agenda item 12, public hearing to consider ordinance number 3 of 2024 to amend the redistricting map for the city of Port Allen, effective the inclusion of the incorporated tract of land now known as West View Crossing subdivision on Port Street. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on this agenda item? No one one responded. We'll close the public hearing. Agenda item 13, consider approving ordinance number 3 of 2024 to amend the redistricting map for the city of Port Allen, reflecting the inclusion of the incorporated tract of land now known as Westview Crossing. Ordinance number 3 of 2024, Ms. Roche.
Ordinance number 3 of 2024, an ordinance of the city of Port Allen providing for amending the current map of the city of Port Allen to include the land now designated as Westview Crossing located on Court Street and related matters.
Mr. Floyd, do you have anything?
Just pleased to be here this time.
Yes, sir.
That came last month, took me 2.5 hours to be a little late, but anyway, the less you say, the less you need to take back. Everybody knows the plan, and just add annexation to District 4. Everything remains the same. Looking forward for your adoption and being passed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll answer any questions or so. Map is the same, just a question of adding the annexation.
Now, I can piggyback off that, Council. If you remember, the census was done, reported to the president in 2021. Obviously, that census was based on information generated 2020, 2019. At that point in time, we did have a tract of land that was annexed into the city off of Court Street. However, nobody lived in that tract of land. So none of the numbers, there were no numbers to be incorporated into the census data. But now, that tract of land has to actually be put into one of the voting districts. There's only one voting district that is contiguous to that annexed piece of property. So that is the district that the voting district that tract of land will be incorporated into. Again, even though there's people out there now incorporating that tract of land into that voting district has no effect on the prior numbers that were presented to the council in terms of the standard deviations or the apportionment in terms of how the voting districts are allocated.
And just for clarity, the map that we worked on in redistrict, where would that map go in effect?
For qualifying and for your election upcoming.
So this upcoming election,
Yes.
the map that we use will be a
Correct.
map that's reflected.
Correct. And the map has already been approved. Got no notice from the Secretary of State. I've done it 40 times this redistricting. So in terms of your registered voters, she's been, I guess, has implemented the plan, but you won't see the numbers until after you have March and April elections. And so I'm saying either May 1st or June 1st, if you go back to your registered voters website, the Secretary of State website, you'll see a little bit difference in terms of what the numbers will be toward your qualifying. I'll send notice if it's not May, June, but that's when the plan will be in the registered voters for West Africa. Yes, so no trouble from the Secretary of State who directs the registered voters. This plan has already been implemented, just waiting to make public. Okay.
Just want to make sure we get the right information out and that we're informing our constituents of the revisions that have been made so they can know that the redistricting and know where they may have to vote and what district they may be in now.
Yeah, and also, if in fact that y'all, I guess proceed, when I say quickly, I state, I did bring y'all some individual maps of the plan for each one of y'all. Did bring it tonight. Anyway, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to serve you. Like I always tell my clients, I look forward to after 23rd. I'll be around. Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you.
Ms. Walker, okay. Anything else? Motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilwoman Walker. Any objection? Here.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
No.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
No.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Agenda item 14, consider revisiting item number 10 on the February 14, 2024 agenda to subdivide tract A to B containing 2.75 acres in section 68 T7SR12E 52D-1A SR12E 52D-1CP 416E 55, MB 5, E 44, MB 7, P 1230 into 2 tracts containing 4 acres and 24.75 acres. Also owners Bonjay Properties, LLC, represented by Francois Bonjay. Mr. Francois, you here?
How y'all doing today? Francois Boulanger. Kind of a bit surprised to be here. I wasn't expecting this to be on the agenda today. Somebody kind of told me about it last minute. We were actually advertising to do a subdivide and rezone in the paper now on March 7th and 2 more weeks prior. So this is kind of a surprise. I wasn't expecting to be doing a presentation here today. But anyway, all we want to do right here is we're asking for a re-subdivide of this piece of property into 2 tracts, a 4-acre tract and a 24.75 acre tract. This item is just for a resub, if I'm correct.
That's correct. And yeah, it's been brought to our attention. They have gone before or submitted a new application with planning and zoning. The council recalls, this item was supposed to go for planning and zoning last month. Planning and zoning was not able to obtain a quorum. As a result, the council was going to go ahead and just take on the matter so that it wouldn't be delayed. The council heard the matter, information was presented, and at the end of the day, no council member made a vote to move forward with it. So some questions, have been asked. Okay, well, what does that mean? But I think Mr. Boulanger is content to bring it back to planning and zoning, if you will.
That's our intent, yes.
Okay, and that they're already in the middle of that process right now, such that if the council wants to wait until it goes before planning and zoning, or ultimately then it comes back before the council again, since that is now already in the works.
And yes, Council, it was brought to my attention, Mr. Bonjay had paid to have the process done in planning and zoning at the end of this month. My recommendation would be to allow him to have that hearing in planning and zoning, then bring it back to the council before we take any other action on this particular item. He has paid his fees for advertising, and his intention is just to have it say with the planning and zoning board, and then if once the board hears, then they bring the recommendation back to the council at the next meeting.
This is about the apartments, the multifamily.
It'll be the same thing that y'all heard that was brought before y'all because we didn't have a quorum at the last meeting. Hopefully, this meeting will have a quorum.
I mean, but when it came to this, wasn't we taking the matter up at that time?
Because we didn't have a quorum.
It never went to planning and zoning first. Planning and zoning never had a
We
quorum.
didn't take any action.
You
No.
didn't take any action, the thing was you took no action.
Right.
It's not, it is my understanding that by taking no action, we left the door open for like a certain time frame to pass. It would, I guess by default, it would be considered passed. So
That's a potential, argument that I guess the property owners could make. Now, the reality of that is the facts of this situation were pretty unique, and that it did go to planning and zoning, and they didn't have a quorum. It then came before the council. The council considered it. There was about an hour's worth of testimony from the presenters, questions from council members, audience members. So the fact of the matter is the council did consider it, and they didn't want to move forward with it at that point in time. But Mr. Boulanger, you're here. If you indicate that you don't intend to push that issue, then a vote tonight wouldn't be needed on it one way or the other. If you're content going
Right, yeah, I mean, we're going through the process again.
Okay.
Right? We don't acknowledge anything other than we're going through the process again. Hopefully, our intent is to talk to some more community people, get a better understanding of what we're putting there versus what could go there. But this is an industrial site, right? It's zoned light industrial. What we're asking for is a reduction in zoning, rights, by putting housing there versus, I could give you an example of one item that's been, we have an offer on the table now, which is a big truck rest area. You know, what they do now is all these truck stops are filled up. They build parking lots, they build restrooms, they build amenities for truckers. They park overnight, so they don't have to park on the interstate. Do I think that's the best thing for Port Allen? No, but it's something that we're capable of putting on there without asking for permission at this point. So what we're trying to do is be good community people. We gotta be residents to this, because we still got 24 acres next to it. So we gotta be good, we gotta agree with what goes next to us as well, right? I've never done anything bad in the parish, at least not to my knowledge, and don't intend to. We wanna bring value, people want amenities. Well, to have amenities, you gotta have housing. We've received emails, countless emails, from the Louisiana Housing Corporations, stating the need for more rental properties in rural communities. There's a lack of it. So anyway, that was just a prefix. We intend to go through planning and zoning and go through council if that's what y'all allow us to do.
Planning and zoning didn't meet, so you just wanna go through that process. But I can tell you that we had a lot of extensive conversations about this piece of property and the idea of it being multifamily and maybe some other alternatives to that. But I can't stop you from going through the process.
No, I understand. There is other alternatives, one of which what I suggested, you know. So that offer's on the table, and we may consider it. If y'all vote us down, we may consider that other alternative. It's not a problem. I don't want to go that route, but we will. Not a problem. So anyway, that's that. Yeah, we'll go through the process if y'all want.
What action?
No action, taken off the agenda.
So I guess motion to just defer to planning and zoning for the request of the property owner.
Okay, entertain a motion to defer to planning and zoning.
You got it.
I have a question, man. So as we saying, on the last time, there was no motion for denial or no motion for approval. So how many days that you would have before you make some kind of action toward that?
Well, it's 60 days, but Mr. Boulanger, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not gonna push the issue
We're
on the
not pushing
prior.
the issue now, and planning and zoning is before that 60-day window.
Well, when he's talking about the first submission, so what you're doing now is you're basically going through it for a second time.
Correct.
Do you agree on the record that you're not gonna push the issue
Yeah,
the
that's
first
fine.
time? So
Yeah.
that a vote is required to
We're going
reject
to
it?
That's not a problem.
Okay, so we got the property owner on record saying he's not gonna push the matter, in terms of forcing the council to take a vote on the first submission. He's going to go forward with the second submission.
We got a motion
You have to vote to defer.
The motion to defer back to planning and zoning.
Move.
Second.
And a motion to defer back to the planning and zoning by Mr. Riviere, second by Ms. Gordon. Any objections?
So if we say no now, how would that affect the
I don't
first?
know.
How would that affect?
When you say
Well,
that, so that
we
means,
just vote for defer,
All
right?
you doing is deferring
Yeah.
this to the next.
To the planning and zoning.
no, I wanna go back to what Evan said.
Oh.
Keep that again, Evan, so I can make sure I have that clear.
So the property owner just stated on the record, he's not gonna push the issue, challenge the issue that the council did not vote yes to approve or no to deny at the next meeting. So, in other words, he's saying, I'm gonna go through planning and zoning, go through that process, then comes back to the board, and then the board will make a decision on his project.
Right, and if we just say no for that deferment, how would that even be?
the council could vote no on the deferment and proceed with action on the item tonight. But again, this would just be on the first application. He still has a pending application that, that would have to go through anyway. So they already started that process.
Before they came to the council?
But before tonight, before this was put on the agenda.
So even if we were to vote this down, as it's written here,
He can still go forward with the planning
So,
and zoning,
yeah,
yes,
we
because
can
they've already submitted the paperwork and all that.
But at the end of the day, they still have to come back here for the decision. If I understand
Correct.
Correct.
All plans on the city come forth.
So we're not even deferring, because if we defer, they still come, so I don't understand.
Well, you're just saying we're not taking action, we're gonna send it, let planning and zoning commission
Right.
review it, take action on it, report back to the council, and the council would consider it from there.
Got a motion, Mr. Riviere, second by Ms. Gardner.
Right. No objection? Hearing none?
Mr. Brown?
I'm sorry. I don't see why we're voting on, because this, so no, I'm
You
just saying
you
no.
voting to defer.
You
You
only
deferring,
defer this
defer.
item
But
off the agenda tonight.
I don't even understand why it was on the agenda tonight.
We did not know, did we know we had
the second application is what
Do your ask.
Okay, council, what happened was Mr. Joseph was off and wasn't aware that he had put in, to have that planning on this month. So that's the reason why it's on the agenda. If we had known that, then it wouldn't be on the agenda.
If you wouldn't
Because
know
he
what?
already paid his money, it's in the newspapers, advertised to be heard the last Wednesday this.
But this vote, in my mind, not even relevant, because he paid already.
That's not totally accurate. Listen, before you say my name, get the facts straight.
Well, that's what you told me.
I didn't put it on the agenda. I think the person who
I didn't
requested,
say you put it on the agenda.
man, all due respect, the person who requested it be on the agenda needs to explain why it's on the agenda.
Who requested?
Because what Mr. Joseph is supposed to do when the item comes to planning and zoning is put an ad in the paper, which is what I did. It ran on March the 7th in your official journal in the West Side Journal. It runs for 3 weeks. It's gonna run again this week. It's gonna run again next week. I didn't request it to be on this agenda. I was not even in town.
And that was
And the property owner didn't request that it be put on this agenda.
Well, who requested to put on the
That's
agenda?
the $25,000 question, and I think that's who needs to take responsibility for it being on the agenda. Don't say Mr. Joseph had anything to do with it. Nothing at all.
I'm the
Thank
one,
you very much.
I requested it to be put on the agenda because I didn't know Mr. Belanger had refiled, and that's my mistake.
Why weren't we made aware of it either? I've been trying to get in touch with you for the last, so I tried 2 times to get in touch with you with no answer.
What's up with who?
Me.
Okay.
All right. So they're going through the process again. Yeah, it would be unfair for the city to stop that. It's going through the process for, correctly, planning and zoning. From there, I'll go back to the city. So what we're doing is, are we gonna vote tonight to defer it, just let it go through the process again, starting with planning and zoning, then coming back to the city council. If you vote no on that, you're basically saying, I want to vote on something tonight. I want to vote to either approve it tonight or reject it tonight. But regardless, you're only voting on the first submission, if you will. So,
Right.
Regardless of whether you approve it tonight, if you approve it tonight, I'm sure it's moot what they're doing right now. But if you reject it tonight, they're still going to get to go to planning and zoning and present before planning and zoning, and let planning and zoning hear it and report back to the council with a recommendation.
And just, so that's how it goes. Planning and zoning could not meet a quorum.
Correct.
So it had to come to the council because of that fact.
Yeah.
So whatever decision we make, it just so happened planning and zoning now can meet a quorum. So let's just take it back to them, because basically we said no. Like the basis of it, we kind of said,
You didn't take.
No, we didn't take a
I'm just
vote.
saying, but
We did, basically, in reality, you said no because you didn't advance it forward, but you didn't say no on the record. Nobody made a motion to approve it, but nobody made a motion, well, I'm gonna reject it.
But I think that's because we was having some other conversations about other things being put there besides the multi-family apartment. Like we had other conversations about other
Yeah.
alternatives.
So the concern is that, okay, the council didn't vote it down, so does that mean it would automatically be approved within a certain period of time? My opinion on that is no, but in any event, Mr. Boulanger has said, look, he's not gonna push, he waives that issue, he's not gonna push that issue. He wants to go before planning and zoning, present his plan, and let them hear it, bring it back to council for the council to consider. Is that correct, Mr. Boulanger?
I think
That's
you
correct.
can do a lot, because planning and zoning is only gonna make a recommendation. That's all they're gonna do, and it's gonna come back to the council, who's gonna still be steadfast on what we kind of limit to before.
Well, the thing is that the process, they go back to planning and zoning, and then they come back to the council. Just that simple. You're sitting here arguing about this situation, let's move on with it.
So we still have not taken a vote to do it.
We need to say, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a comment here. Just going forward, anything that you guys, if you're gonna deny something, you have to take a motion. Somebody have to make a motion and you have to do a vote. If you're gonna accept it, you still have to take a motion and start a vote. But no one raised a motion, that's the reason that you're in the situation that you're in. Because if someone would have raised a motion and started a vote,
They made a motion, but no one did, vote to, approve. Did anybody made a motion to pass?
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
No motion.
It
That's what I'm
just
saying,
failed.
going forward,
No
that's-
one did acknowledge to make the pass.
These meetings are governed by Robert's Rules of Order. And the rules state that either a motion and a second has to be made in order to consider an item, or a substitute motion. The substitute motion is then dealt with first. What you have now is a substitute motion to defer the matter or table it. You either take action on the substitute motion.
No, the primary motion is the table.
The substitute motion is to defer it. The primary item is the item that's on the agenda.
But that's not a motion.
It's not a motion yet. That's not what I said. What I said is you have an option to take action on the item. That did not take place.
Right.
A substitute motion has been made to defer or
Exactly.
table it. That's exactly what it is. This is a substitute motion in place of what was read by the mayor
Exactly.
as the actual agenda item.
That's it.
That's what Robert Rules of Order state. Now, you don't have to get into the specifics.
That's
But
it.
if nobody makes a motion on the original item, if you're gonna consider something different, it has to be a substitute motion.
Has to be-
Somebody
That's the way it works.
Somebody
So-
has to make a motion for there to be a possibility of a substitute motion. The only motion.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to get to.
Right, the only motion made by the council so far is the motion to defer it to planning and zoning. There is no substitute motion on the floor right now.
Is there a substitute
The
motion?
defer is a substitute motion if you're not gonna take action on the original item. You're deferring it. That is different from the original item. That constitutes as a substitute motion. So you have to clear that first. Now, if a motion was made or not, that's for your municipal clerk. But the reality is, there's only two options. Take action on the original item or take action on the substitute item.
Exactly.
That's the only way you can change the original item. Now, if you don't make a motion, then it fails, which is what happened last month. And a failure to obtain a motion is non-consideration because there was no motion, there was no second, there was no vote. Once the time period for that consideration ends, you move on to the next matter. That's what happened last month. So there was no consideration provided. Now we're here again to revisit it. So you either revisit it or you defer it. Those are two different things. So the deferment has to be a substitute from what's on your original agenda. Now that's black letter Robert's Rules of Order. So do as you see fit, but that's where we are.
We can go back and forth on this. He's agreeing on record, it's in the minutes, he's not gonna contest it. We need to go ahead and move on deferring to the planning and zoning and move on.
That is
I
the
need to
motion
get
on the
understanding
floor.
on what I'm doing. That's what I need to do. Like, I just, you got to understand. I'm trying to, I want to see what it was on item number 10. How was it written in the last meeting? Because
So,
on this, for this one, they say consider revisiting item number 10. So what did item number 10 say?
It was that exact same item. It was consideration of the re-subdivision request of that plot of land. And no action was taken by the council on that item. So this item is back on the agenda for tonight. And we have been considering it. You had the property owner address the council, you had questions, we've had public comment. So now it's time to make a motion on that agenda item, one way or the other. And we have a pending motion and a second on the floor to table it based on the assurances of what the property owner gave, that he's not gonna, raise an issue in terms of the first submission. He's gonna go with the second submission, which will go then before the Planning and Zoning Commission as it's being advertised right now. From there, the Planning Commission will review this as they do any other tracts or proposals that are presented, and then the matter will come back before the City Council.
Either way it goes, go to planning and zoning.
Yes.
Yes, either way, because even if you say, okay, we're gonna revisit it and we're gonna vote no tonight, that's still no on that prior submission. There's another submission going before right now. It's
Well,
already in
yeah,
process.
let's get that thing clear first. For item number 10 for last week, since we didn't make a vote, we didn't vote properly, let's vote, get the correct vote, so really we are considering revisiting item number 10 and making a vote on that. And then we can move forward to the next submission, correct?
Well, they're dealing with it regardless.
Well, they're dealing with it regardless.
Because
It's
based
just a
on
matter-
last week, it was a no to what the consideration was.
But we didn't vote on
In
it.
reality,
So that's what I'm saying, can we vote on it? Because we revisited it now.
you can make a substitute motion to vote on the first submission, yes.
That's all I was trying to
Yeah.
make sure. That's it.
So we just
But
voted on
just
to defer.
understand though that there's still
Right.
a second submission now that's gonna work its way through the process.
Yes, I do understand.
So right now, we have a motion on the floor to just defer the matter to planning and zoning and let that second, which is basically killing that item. Property owner has indicated on the record, he's good with that, he's not gonna challenge anything on that. And then the second, the one that's working its way, being advertised right now, will work its way through the system.
So we entertain a motion.
We already have a
We
motion
have a
and a
motion
second.
by Mr. Riviere,
We
second by
started,
Ms.
we actually started a roll call, but then we stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said no.
Okay, a motion by Councilman Beal, second by Councilman Gordon. No objections. Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Yeah, initially I said no.
No?
Correct.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes for the deferral.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes for the deferral.
Ms. Lacy?
No.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
Thank you. Agenda item 15, consider revision item number 11 on the February 14, 2024 agenda to rezone the new 4-acre tract just created from L2 light industrial to R5 multifamily, permitting 16 units per gross acreage. Parcel owner, Bonjay Properties LLC, represented by Francois Bonjay.
That's cool. And Mr. Boulanger, will you make the same stipulation
Yeah.
as you did on the last one?
Same,
You
same
all-
thing as before. Look, this goes back to the last item. I don't want to go backwards with it. Y'all deferred on a re-subdivide, right? Why wouldn't y'all want to re-subdivide? Are y'all saying we can't re-subdivide 28 acres in the city of Port Allen? I mean, y'all need to look at what y'all voting for. Okay, that was a re-sub and y'all telling us no. On a 28-acre tract in the city of Port Allen, y'all gonna say no to a property owner. There's property rights here that's involved, okay? Y'all need to be open-minded to development and the remaining property that we have here. Okay, we're trying to be good neighbors, but we need open-minded people. And it doesn't look like we have open-mindedness. It looks like we have just a closed-minded mentality. So we want to defer. Yes, we want to defer, but we want people to be open-minded and be willing to listen to what we have before they get something they don't want.
Okay, Mr. Boucher, what we probably, I must make a suggestion is, you see who's opposing, who's not opposing, you might want to contact these council members. and
I'll
give
reach
them an
out to
idea.
some of them, and I'll be reaching out to the rest of them.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So we having a motion to defer.
We have the same motion as last time.
It's a move because they never created the track.
We never created the track.
I know. I just want to say we considered it. I guess,
And look, I wanna make a suggestion too, while we're making suggestions. I suggest that he continue to talk to the people within the community, that you're trying to, when you're looking at rezoning from industrial to residential, because as community leaders, we have to make sure that we listening to the people as well.
I understand. I don't see a lot of people here opposing it.
Well, okay, I said,
Because they
well, you
was on
should
the
have last week, but
I saw
nevertheless,
you
do your
Facebook
due
post,
diligence, do your due diligence, and go into the community like you say you were, and then, we'll work from there.
Understood. I'll be in touch.
What do
we have a motion to substitute,
Defer.
motion to defer.
I'll move to defer.
Second.
I got a motion to defer by Councilman Riviere, second by Councilman Hubble. Any objection? Yeah, no?
Ms. Brown?
No.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Ms. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy? No. Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
But you still gotta go to the planning and zoning.
Right. Agenda item 16, consider authorizing mayor Lee to fill 2 positions in planning and zoning commissioners with Loretta Isaac and Charlene Johnson to replace Gordon Partain and Liz Moon. The council had 5 applicants who submitted applications for this position. One person that I recommend is Loretta Isaac. She's currently on our Board of Adjustment. She has been going through, I think, at least 3 regular scheduled meetings, which is only required to have 1. And it's the same as the training that planning and zoning. So I'm gonna recommend her, because she's not really qualified to fill one of those positions. The second person, Lee Johnson. Ms. Johnson, you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Ms. Johnson is a former council person with West Baton Rouge Parish. She served 4 years on the parish council, and she, in fact, I'm gonna let her come forward and give her.
Good evening, council. Good seeing you all again. As the mayor said, I do have municipality experience. I served on the parish council with Ms. Charlene Garden. I would be honored to be a part of your planning and zoning. I see that it is going to be quite eventful. So tonight was a good touch of the toe into the waters. So please consider me. I am a new resident back into the city of Port Allen. As the mayor said, I wanted to volunteer in some form, some fashion to make our city even better. So just use me as you will.
Don't move.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Rose Roche, she's good in coordinating.
Oh, I
Get
know.
with her.
Thank you.
She'll get it on the road.
Ms. Rose knows I'm here to help her in any way I can.
We gonna
assist
use
anyone in any way I can.
You don't need for me to do something.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you.
You served with Ms.
Thank you so
Gordon?
much.
I'm sorry.
You served with Ms. Gordon?
Tell them we was the
Yes,
best.
I did.
Let them
Yes,
know
I
we was
served
the
with Ms.
best.
Gordon.
I
Yes.
just want to extend my sympathy.
She was good and she hung in there. I threw in my head early and finished raising my kids. She stuck it out. She's still doing her due diligence. I'm very proud of her.
Thank
Very
you.
proud of Ms. Lacy. Very proud of you all. I know how it is to give your life to public service. It is not easy. There are many knocks on the doors. You get many enemies. You create many friends. It's a hard position. You have to be a strong person. I admire you. I look forward to in assisting you all, uplifting you all in any way I can. Like I said, whatever parish I live in, I always want to be a positive representative for it. So again, I'm here to help. So thank you all for
Thank
considering.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You think Ms. Isaac want to say something?
And we have Ms. Loretta Isaac. Ms. Isaac, like I said, she was currently on the Board of Adjustments. And she's,
Good evening, Council. I'm Mrs. Isaac, and I've done several years of volunteer work with the city as one of the community volunteers. And I've also helped with the Council on Aging for several years since I've been there. So I try to do things with the city to help do things better for the seniors. And I love volunteering for the city since I retired. That's my new job, is to help volunteer with things for the city. And I enjoy doing the work, and I would be very happy to help on the planning and zoning committee too.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank both of you all.
I'm over.
Yeah, I second.
Include both applicants.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I got a motion by
Very much
Councilman
needed.
Riviere, second by Councilman Lacy. Any objection? Hearing none.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere? Motion
Yes.
passes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And also, council, the other three applicants, I'm gonna recommend that, we use them for the Board of Justice to keep us from having to abolish that particular board. Still, we'll be searching for two additional members to be elected.
So, planning and zoning besides the new two.
And also, at the next planning and zoning meeting, we'll be, have the board pick a commissioner, since, everybody realizes that Ms. Holmes is our, not commissioner, our chairperson. We'll have to get a new chairperson for that board, and, I'll let you know that recommendation is from the board. All right. Within item 17, consider authorizing Mayor Lee to hire the following applicants. Charlene Lewis for roads and drainage at step grade 101C. Samuel Frank IV in roads and drainage at step 101C. And Joshua Falcon, mechanic assistant in fleet maintenance at 110A. Council, these are the positions that we advertised in the paper, and these are the applicants that applied, and we interviewed two young gentlemen. We were very impressed with Mr. Frank, a former Quality High School student. Gave a good interview, and he's 18, 19 years of age, and he's eager to work. Also, Mr. Charlene Lewis, he's originally from Maryland, Louisiana. He has a family here in Port Allen, and he also gave a good interview.
Where did y'all interview, Mayor?
They flew yesterday.
Monday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I knew it ended Friday.
Yes, ma'am. It ended Friday.
I was.
And also the last person, Joshua Falcon, he's mechanic assistant. He's the only person that applied for that position, and he come highly recommended from Mr. I'm going blank. Tullier, our current maintenance, not maintenance, but mechanic supervisor. And Mr. Falcon is a former law enforcement officer. As a matter of fact, he did 12 years at his and he also, in his time, did I think he said 7 or 8 years as small engine repairman. So, as a mechanic assistant, I think he'll do fine in that position.
Okay, I see Charlene Lewis and Samuel Franklin, they are very young, and we have to encourage them, let them know that this is a great job that they can retire from. We know that they're young and they still have their playing ways and stuff, and we have to really encourage them, let them know how important this job can be of value to them in the long run. And With that, I make a motion for the hiring, all three of them.
I got a motion on the table by Councilman Gordon, second by Councilman Brown. Any objection? Hearing none?
Brown?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Council. Then item 18, condemnation proceedings. 434 Michigan Avenue, Tommy Lacy.
All right, council members, we'll take 434 Michigan Avenue first.
Yes, sir.
Council members, you should have a packet in front of you. The first document in your packet, y'all have it? Okay. Should be a report from Third Coast Architecture, who's the city's third-party building inspector. Report dated November 7, 2023, concerning a property located at 434 Michigan Avenue. Council members, as you can see from the last paragraph of that report, Mr. Alzan has concluded that based on the condition observed at the time of the inspection, it is my opinion that the detached garage structure poses a health and safety risk to the public, since the condition of the property observed clearly fits the definition of a derelict building according to section 3428 of the City Code of Ordinances. It is my recommendation that the structure be condemned. If left in the condition, the structure will continue to deteriorate and pose an even greater risk to the public. You have several pictures attached to that report showing how the property, the condition of the structure as of August 26, 2023. After receiving this report, the city issued a notice to show cause dated January 19, 2024, whereas the property owner, Ms. Angela Sage, was required to appear before the city council on February 14, 2024, to show cause and really exists as to why the structure located on the property should not be condemned. That notice was served on the property owner on February 7, 2024. Council members, if you recall, at that meeting, the property owner did appear. Unfortunately, the service was not within the 10-day period, so we gave the property owner the choice as to whether to proceed that night or to defer the matter to this meeting. On the record, the property owner did elect to defer the matter to this meeting. As a result, the next document you have is a revised notice to show cause dated February 26, 2024, which required the property owner to appear on the March 13, 2024 meeting as to why the property should not be condemned. The last document that you have is a certificate of service showing that that revised notice to show cause was served via city marshal on February 27, 2024, which is within the 10-day period for service. At this point in time, we'll have Mr. Alzan address the council as to the condition of the property or the structure of the property as it exists today.
So as of this afternoon, the condition of the property was very similar to what you have in your report. Looks like the detached garage structure. I don't know why it's not. Slideshow. Yeah. But when I changed the slideshow, I went from the first slide to the second slide. So the primary residence is, it's boarded up. It's actually fairly secure, and it doesn't look to be in bad shape. Where we run into issues is the detached structure you see in the background. You have walls that are completely open to the elements, a roof that is completely collapsed, and it's just it's in rough shape. So, my recommendation would be to condemn the detached structure while it appears as the primary residence is still in decent enough shape to be repaired. I did see some evidence of, in this image, you can start to see that there's a little hump with the roof, which is from evidence of maybe some roof structure failure, maybe from leaking and rotting or from whatever. But the roof surface does look like it needs to be replaced, and if left in this condition, will continue to deteriorate. But the primary reason for condemnation is the detached garage.
Any questions for Mr. Altazan? I have some questions, Mr. Altazan, and these questions will be applicable to the detached garage in the back. Mr. Altazan, Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428 defines derelict buildings as those being structurally unsafe, unstable, unsanitary, constituting a hazard to life because of inadequate exit facilities, constituting a fire hazard, unsuitable and improper for the use of occupancy to which they are put, constituting a hazard to health or safety because of inadequate maintenance, dilapidation, abandonment, or otherwise dangerous to life or property. Mr. Altazan, in your opinion, did the structure you observed today meet that definition of a derelict building?
Yes, it does.
Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428-2 defines a derelict building as a vacant building, dwelling, and or other structure or portions thereof deemed to constitute a hazard. Mr. Altazan, in your opinion, did the structure you observed today meet that definition of a derelict structure?
Yes.
Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428-3A, governing load-bearing structures. These are parts of the building, dwelling, and or other structures such as the rafters, beams, or load-bearing walls that carry most of the weight of the building, dwelling, and or other structure. These parts must be in good condition and able to support the weight of the building, dwelling, and or other structure. These parts cannot have extensive termite damage. These parts must be level, plumb, and sturdy. Mr. Altazan, in your opinion, did the structures you observed today comply with all of those requirements?
No, it does not.
Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428-3B, governing foundation walls, provides that the foundation walls must be level and plumb. Foundation walls cannot have large cracks or breaks. Foundation walls must keep out rodents and or other pests. The space underneath a raised building, dwelling, and or other structure must be free of debris. The foundation cannot have any rotting columns or missing or leaning piers. The foundation cannot be sagging or breaking. Concrete cannot be crumbling or cracking. Mr. Altazan, in your opinion, did the structure you observed today comply with all of those requirements of the ordinances?
Not applicable. There are no foundation walls, it's a slab on grade, and I couldn't tell whether the concrete was cracked because of the debris that was in there.
Okay. Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428-3C, governing exterior walls. The exterior walls must be level and plumb. The exterior walls must be free from large holes, breaks, and loose or rotting materials. The exterior walls must prevent water and wind from entering the building, dwelling, and other structure. The exterior walls must be watertight. Mr. Altazan, in your opinion, did the structure you observed today comply with all of those requirements?
No, it does not.
Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428-3D, governing roofs. The roofs cannot allow rain or wind to enter to the building, dwelling, and other structure. The roof cannot have broken or loose materials. Shingles, flashing, felt paper, or tiles must be in good condition. The roof cannot have extensive termite damage, except for a period not to exceed 1 year following roof damage caused by a storm. The roof cannot be covered with a temporary covering to prevent water entry. Mr. Altazan, in your opinion, did the structure you observed today comply with all of those requirements of the ordinance?
No, it does not.
Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428-3F, governing chimneys. Chimneys is not applicable. Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428-3G, governing, 2438-3F, governing rodents. The property has to be maintained so as to keep rodents from nesting and to prevent rodent infestation. If rodents are found on the property, the rodents must be exterminated by approved processes which are not a threat to humans. Mr. Altazan, in your opinion, did the structure you observed today comply with that requirement?
No, it doesn't.
Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428-3G, governing garages, sheds, fences, and freestanding walls. These cannot have excessive deterioration that might cause them to fall apart. The freestanding walls of a building, dwelling, and other structure must be plumb and level. There cannot be any loose pieces that might come off during stormy weather. Mr. Altazan, in your opinion, did the structure you observed today comply with all of those requirements of the ordinance?
No, it does not.
Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428-3H, governing stairways, steps, decks, porches, and balconies, does not apply. Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428-3I, governing handrails and guardrails, does not apply. Port Allen Code of Ordinances, Section 3428-3J, governing securing of the property. There cannot be any broken doors, windows, and/or empty door and/or window frames on the property. They must be repaired and replaced, and/or be properly boarded up so as to prevent entry to the building, dwelling, and/or other structure. Mr. Alpizan, in your opinion, did the structure you observed today comply with all of those requirements?
No, it does not.
Port Island Code of Ordinances, section 3428.3K, governing doors. Door assemblies and door hardware cannot have significant deterioration. Screens cannot have large tears. Glass doors cannot be broken. A door must fit into the door frame. Mr. Alexander, in your opinion, did the structure you observed today comply with all of those requirements of the ordinance?
No, it does not.
Port Island Code of Ordinances, section 3428.3L, governing windows, skylights, and door frames. These must be in good condition and weathertight. These must prevent water and air entry. Windows must be operable. Windows that open must have fully functioning locks. Windows cannot have missing panes or be broken. Door frames have to be in good working order. Door frames have to be level and plumb. Door frames cannot have extensive deterioration. Mr. Alpizan, in your opinion, did the structure you observed today comply with all of those requirements of the ordinance?
No, it does not.
All right, council members, you've heard from Mr. Alpizan, who has testified that the property is in violation of 10 separate sections of the city's ordinances, making the property eligible for condemnation. At this point in time, we'll ask if there's anybody here, property owner, to address the status.
I'm not contesting, I just would request some time to secure a permit and a loan.
What you requesting?
To just, time allowance to secure a permit and a loan. I'm not contesting, I agree.
Okay, have you got an estimate of what it's gonna cost to tear the garage?
I've just started, making calls, so I don't have, an estimate yet. I haven't had anybody yet to visit the property.
Okay, you deal with me after the meeting, I have a list of contractors you can contact.
I appreciate it.
And give you an estimate, and then, we can take it from there. But the council still have to look at
Yes, sir.
how they want to proceed.
Yes, sir.
So council, we would recommend, since the property owner is not contesting the status of the property, that the council proceed to issue condemn the property and give the property owner a certain period of time to tear down the garage.
And to be fair, it's the upper structure of the garage. The bottom portion of the CMU walls appears to be salvageable. So it's basically the second floor where all the wood framing is up above the concrete block walls that needs to be rebuilt. The primary is okay, like where the CMU walls are. It's just the wood structure up above that is just okay.
But you don't have any plans to rebuild it, do you?
No, ma'am, just to tear the whole thing down.
So council members, I mean, in the past, you've given 30, 60, 90 days to tear down property. It's really just dependent. It's 120 days if you're going to allow for repairs, but this is a situation where the property owner is indicated she's not going to.
Well, the council agrees 60 days, and at which time, if she hadn't done it, then we would hire the contractor and the lien would be put on the property. 60 days. That's my motion.
That's it. I got a motion on the floor, 60 days to secure contractor and have it removed, if not, the city will proceed. Got a motion by Councilman Riviere, second by Councilman Hubble. Any objections? Hearing none?
Brown,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
Hubble,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Riviere.
Yes.
Mr. Sessions.
Thank you.
All right, council members, the next item is for a piece of property located at 833 North 13th Street. Rather than go through this again, we have a situation where, again, the property owner was served, but the service was not able to be done within the 10-day period. The property owner is here, however, so he's indicated a preference. I'll ask that he come up, but he's indicated a preference to continue it to next month's meeting, just like we did with the Michigan situation.
Yeah. The next one, but I got a question. I did put in for a renovation about 6 months ago, and I didn't get nothing back from the parish of the city. So I did be working on it. I just want to defer it to next month. Possible.
So you identify yourself. I'm sorry.
Get it going.
So Mr. Gordon, you will be present at next
Yes.
month. Okay, and we'll send you a letter.
Okay.
The property will be up.
But if I have a remodeling permit, and I already started on it,
You gotta get to the administration.
all right.
I'm not aware of anything.
All right, thank you.
You also have a citizen who wants to speak.
That what?
Yeah, I need to speak.
Okay.
I've been waiting on this for better than a year, so I think it should be done. The place is destructive. They have kids that are around in the area. I'm across the street, I'm tired of looking at it. Okay? And I've been working on this for a year or longer. So I don't see why it hasn't been done. Something should be done about this. And it's dangerous. You have a storm, the house next door, the two houses next door, they can be damaged. They is it ain't. My house, I'm across the street, a storm come or a hurricane, they can blow the debris at my house. I'm at 840 North 13th Street. I want something done about this because it's too long. It's been too long. I shouldn't have to be here. You wouldn't want it in front of your doors. Every time you walk out the door, you're looking at it, and when people come out of state or anywhere, and they look at your house, and you look at the community up and down the street, you still got this raggedy house with plastic, no windows, no doors hanging like they're supposed to. The house, the top is going down like that, and it's all been in. I'm tired, and it's time for the city to do something about it. It's too long. It's better than a year, and I'm tired. You look at it. Go down 13th Street. It's terrible. It shouldn't be there. I've been looking at it for the last couple of years. I'm tired. Okay? And I pay my taxes. Probably the highest taxes that's paid on the street.
Let me say something about that. Mr.
My
Jarrett,
name is Joyce
Crittenden.
Crittenden.
Miss Crittenden, and I feel you, and I do apologize for it, even though that's a family member of mine, but I just want to correct you. He just bought that house. He was not the owner. He bought it as is, and he has been trying to work on it. He had some problem with it, and I do know that.
I know once he had a den out there, whatever.
Right, but the man had found out he had come.
That's been over a year.
But he hadn't bought the house within a year.
Well, whatever he was doing, he must have been working on that part. But
It was someone else.
Then, I don't know. They had it in the front, and you sit in front of my door all during the holiday. I'm tired.
We'll definitely take care of it.
Yeah, you need to take care of it. Look at it. I don't know when he bought it. Look at it. And burned out exactly when you bought it. Long enough to do something about it. Tear it down or fix it up.
I agree with you 100%.
Okay? Don't just agree. That's your family.
But that's not my house.
But that's not your house. That's right. I'm tired.
Yeah, Council, as Ms. Whitney says, the house.
Council also wanted to say the neighbor to the south has 2 dogs that are very close to a wall that is falling down. There is a portion of the wall that had it fallen on the outside of the home instead of the inside of the home, it would have fallen on the dogs cages. So it's probably one of the worst shaped houses that we've done condemnations.
It's next month. That will go for next month.
Hey, I said you was gonna do it the 15th. Somebody talked, I heard, and they said they would do it by the 15th of this month. They say January, somebody lying in here. And I'm getting tired of it.
And Ms. Brittany, you are correct. I did speak with Mr. Gordon, and he did make a statement to me that he would have it torn down by the 15th. But now as he came here today, he's talking about.
Then he got somebody to lie. I heard about that too. Just in time for to come here, somebody come yesterday, a couple of days ago, looking at it, so he can get up and tell a lie. He's going to start working on it. He's going to work on it now, because just before you come to the meeting, okay? I got a problem with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
It is on the agenda for next month, and we will take action next month. Okay?
Somebody gonna take some action.
All right, thank you, Ms. Brittany.
I'm going home, I'm 80 years old, I'm tired. And I don't expect to be in the streets all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
Be careful.
Thank you.
Okay?
And council, this is, like I said, this is one of those situations, just like the architect says, the house is in down, I don't see how he can repair it, but that's his wishes, that's his wishes.
So when you say for the renovation, what this with the city, that's something that happened.
I haven't seen a permit.
He notified me of that just before the meeting, and he said it had been executed, but it was apparently not sent to the parish. I have to go back and look at the records, the key records of what was sent to the parish. So I can't say what occurred.
But in fact, he didn't get the notice in time.
Well, no. What happened, the process that we have put in place is for them to come here and do an initiation form. And when they submit the initiation form, we provide certain information on that form and provide it to the parish and instruct them that they then go to the parish to complete the process. So the only way we know if something has happened is when the parish invoices us at the end of the month for what permits were processed. But the property owner is instructed that to complete this form, we send the form to the parish, and then they're supposed to go to the parish, because they still have applications to fill out at the parish and payments to be made at the parish. So there's really no real-time communication as to when they do that. So they can come here and never show up at the parish. And if they don't pay, then they're not going to be issued a permit. I don't know what happened here. He told me just before the meeting that he put in a permit.
You're saying,
so I'm going to have to go back and see.
You're saying you don't know if he has a permit right now or not?
Well, I know he does not have a permit. We need to know why he does not have a permit. Was it that the parish never received the initiation form, or did he never follow through? I don't know which occurred. But I do know that Ms. Lynette typically provides the initiation form when it's signed. She sends it, she scans it, and emails it to the parish.
There's evidence of repair work that was done at some point. It has not been recent, but there are sill plates that were replaced.
Right.
But if that work may be done without permit, I don't know.
Currently, this matter is not even properly before the council. Service was not effective. I don't want to get into specifics of detail. However, in speaking to Mr. Gordon, he said that he did provide, he did do some work. He apparently, I think, provided, added to the structure in order to increase the size within the current footprint. But I think there was some back and forth about whether he could demolish it and rebuild the same footprint. And he was informed that he could not. I didn't have a conversation with him. Like I said, my first conversation about this was right before this meeting started, right before he got on the elevator to come upstairs. I will research it and get back to you. However, He did indicate that they've done some work, and his intention is to try and rehabilitate the current structure because he'd have to build it smaller if he tore it down. That was the gist of the conversation we had about an hour and 40 minutes ago. Okay. Moving on. There are no alcoholic
We had a motion on it.
So it's in
The motion, yeah, there's no motion.
Motion is taken.
No, sir, yeah, so we're not taking that up at all. We'll be on next month's.
So we take it up.
It's just gonna come back if we didn't have service.
Announcements, I got several. First announcement is Good Friday is March 29th. City Hall will be closed at Friday, be half a day on Thursday, the 28th. There will be a planning and zoning meeting on March 27th at 6 p.m. here on the third floor. We'll be voting on a new chairperson at that particular meeting and introducing the two new members. Also, Court Street sewer blockage is still in the process of being repaired. We have run into several complications. Hopefully we can stop the backup from filling in the hole that's causing the problem. And hopefully within the next day or so we'll have that repaired and fixed. The sewer treatment plant has got the two motors back from repair shop, and they installed them this past week. We still run into a few other issues, but they have it under control, and hopefully we'll be in full operation, pumping the water, treated water back to the river. The back truck is now in service. If y'all hadn't seen it, we did some drainage issues, we did some sewer issues, and it's a good asset to the city. And I guarantee you, it's gonna work. We'll get our money work out of it.
Getting ready to work out already.
That's it. I want to make an announcement today. I will not be seeking re-election. This is my final term. It will end at the end of this year. And I want to say that I enjoyed working here with the city of Port Allen. I will continue to work with whoever get elected. I know there probably will be several members of individuals running for this position, so I will not support any individual because I want to work with that person who's in office, because this seat here it takes a lot, and in the 10 years I've been here, I'm still running. I'll be around, and trying to continue to serve the citizens of the city until December 31st or the first 2 weeks in January, and then after that the new mayor will step in and take over, and I will assist him as we go forward. Him or her. So, other than that, any other announcements? Oh, yeah, Friday we have.
And the Chamber of Commerce event.
We have the jukebox, junior band at the West Baton Rouge Museum. Chris Thomas King will be featured in the Blues School. It starts at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We'd love to have y'all present. And I'm told it's going to be a grand event, so let's support the museum and whatever effort that they do to support our community. Anybody got anything?
Chamber of Commerce.
When Chamber got they,
Yeah.
Yeah, Chamber of Commerce got their annual paper.
Yeah. Can you register me for that, Mayor? It wouldn't let me do it myself. It kept saying I needed this password, that password.
All right, we'll take care of it.
I do have one other announcement. Alicia Mason. She's a resident of East Baton Rouge who lost one of her family members to gun violence. Along with the Justice for Betrayal organization, we put it on a kickball game on April the 6th at the William and Lee Park, and the theme of it is kicking violence out of our community. So I'm asking community members, leaders, business owners, organizations to let's get involved. We may not be seeing an increase in violence on our side, but we definitely want to stand arm in arm with those who are experiencing an increase in violence, which is on the east side. So we're going to join together, kind of have the east and the west come together to try and just make a difference.
When is this?
April the 6th at William and Lee.
What time?
And we're looking for donations because we want to do like a barbecue and then give away free food, always. To allow the community to get involved. So we need everything.
And also, that's in April. We have May,
April 6th.
Family Day in the Park, May 25th, and we have our Juneteenth in June. So we have a lot to keep our resident and our constituent busy for.
I always say they don't do nothing in Port Allen.
So they have no complaints.
We just need you to get involved. You could get in somewhere and make a difference.
Starting Friday night.
I just want to echo what you said about that truck. I guess I'm still a little kid with toy trucks, but that thing is magnificent if y'all haven't seen it. It's out there. Well, it's been out there on Court Street. And it's phenomenal. I mean, the thing is, it's a beauty, and it does the job. And I want to thank the mayor because when he's right there out there in front of my house with that big hole, and I think he's been out there more than he's been up here. But I appreciate you attending that problem there and getting all those barricades there.
No problem. Thank you.
And as for you, going up for re-election, Mayor, we appreciate you for your 10 years. And I know that we're going to definitely try to do something with that for sure. I thank you for a lot that you have taught me when I came to you, ask you questions. You was always open to answer my questions, and I always see you in the neighborhood. So I tell you, the next mayor do have some big shoes to fill too, because you wasn't just a mayor who sat in the office all day long. We could see you in the neighborhood. Even I could say in my other residents, I saw you. If they was in the hole, you was down in the hole too.
In the ditch.
Yeah, so, some people, they think that they want something more than what they have. But until you learn to be appreciative of what you have now, you don't know what you may not get in the future. So I'm appreciative of what you have given to this city.
Thank you. If you don't have any other announcements, we'll go ahead and get down to 21.
Motion. To adjourn?
Who seconded it? I got Gordon.
Are you all